The basic principles of curriculum preparation and development used in face-to-face classes are still applicable to fully online and blended classes.
However, it is important to understand when it is beneficial to use technology, particularly in blended contexts.
Technology should not be the driver of your curriculum development. It should be an integrated component that enhances the learning and teaching experience for your students.
You should familiarize yourself with the capabilities of different technologies to ensure that you choose those that complement your course design and help students achieve the intended aims of your course. We will help you with this throughout the course.
Here are some primary considerations to keep in mind when planning your online class.
Don't let technologies drive your learning design. While new technologies might be fun to explore, don't get carried away with the hype. If the technology does not serve a useful purpose, don't use it.
You need to ensure that all elements of your class are constructively aligned with its learning outcomes.
Your class learning outcomes are a list of what you think your students should be able to achieve after completing your course. Typically, you would have about 4 or 5 outcomes for a course.
Constructive alignment means that all aspects of your class, including learning outcomes, content, activities, and assessment, are all directly related to each other.
When the learning outcomes, activities, and assessment are not aligned, student learning is all over the place and incoherent.
The content, along with activities and assessments within your class, should each relate to particular learning outcomes in order to facilitate student learning, acting like stepping stones that allow students to gradually build, apply, and evaluate knowledge.
When thinking about constructive alignment, you should ask yourself, are my learning outcomes measurable? Do my activities help my students achieve the learning outcomes? Do the assessments measure my students' achievement of the learning outcomes?
You cannot always assume that your students will know how to effectively use online technologies in their learning.
The concept of all students being digital natives that are fluent in using all types of technology has long been since rethought.
Demonstrating to students how to use technology effectively by integrating support and guidance into your course will help develop their digital literacy skills. When thinking of using any technology in your class, you should ask yourself, have I provided adequate training so that my students will know how to use the technology? Do I really know how to use it myself so that I can model best practice for my students and answer any of their questions? Do all my students have equitable access to this technology? Have I clearly stated why these technologies will be used and how I expect my students to use them?
Establishing which components of a blended class are better suited to an online or face-to-face environment allows you to maximize the effectiveness of your curriculum and increase student engagement.
Face-to-face and online learning activities should complement one another.
It is important not to double up so that you end up teaching a fully online course and a face-to-face course simultaneously.
You must balance the use of technology and traditional teaching methods.
It's very important that you understand which technologies are most appropriate for facilitating the type of learning activities you wish your students to engage in. We will help you develop your understanding in this course. When thinking about matching technology to learning activities, you should ask yourself, what is not working in my current class that technology might help with? How many different types of technology am I asking my students to use? Which technology is best suited to help facilitate the activity I am asking my students to engage with? For everything I ask my students to do online, what will I remove from the face-to-face class in order to maintain the current workload for my students and for myself?
Careful planning is one of the most important components of teaching online.
A well-planned and carefully balanced online curriculum is much easier to manage and greatly reduces the potential for frustration and confusion during a student's online learning process.
This video is designed to give you some starting points for planning your online class.
For more detailed tips and strategies, please refer to the associated PDF document for this video.
And if you're interested in exploring these concepts even further, you'll find additional resources and case studies in the course to help guide you.